I'm going to start seated, and I have screen shared sound. There's Susan is coming in too. Hey, Susan. Um, and I'm going to offer us today a inquiry practice based off of some of the stuff that I have been most impressed by and affected by recently. And one of the things that has been really meaningful to me is the idea of compassion. Compassion for ourselves, compassion for each other, but really generous kind of what is it? Mo like a mother loves, mother love for all things, all beings, and your own body and your own body mind. So really opening up into a space of generosity and non-judgment with yourself. So that's the place that we're going to start from, and we're going to work with this idea of being rooted and being grounded, but also being able to be inspired, to receive inspiration. So kind of like this down and upness of being. Like if we're people living in a vertical world, walking around a vertical world, walking around vertical in the world, we're inviting that experience into our awareness and into our sensation. This doesn't mean you have to stay vertical. You can always lay down. You can take this in any way that feels good for you. Taking a break, moving, not moving, on screen, off screen, it's all fine. But I'm going to read us this poem that is by somebody that I follow on Instagram called The Crypto Naturalist. And his name is Jared K. Anderson. He has a podcast too. But the poem is being awake to nature helps us let go of the desire to, quote, be important and start looking toward better, kinder goals. Nature is family. Family doesn't want you to be important. It wants you to be whole. So the invitation is to come into our bodies, and we'll just come in for a landing, just feeling what you feel right now, feeling however you feel, without any great need to fix it, to make it perfect, to perfectionize it, and just landing in your being, landing in what it feels like to be you right now. So I take a course, a meditation course with Michael Taft, who I've been studying with for a long time. He's a non-dual meditation teacher. And we were in our class the other day and we were talking about this idea of really feeling generous to other people. Really, and which doesn't mean you give away all your stuff. It just means that you really see the best for other people. And and it's kind of like this idea of unconditional generosity, unconditional love, where you're not jealous of other people or feeling shame because of other people are guilty about things, but being able to be in a place where we can go, oh, I can just open my heart a little bit here. I can let my heart be a little bit more melty, a little bit more expansive in the situation, which is not to not have good boundaries, but just to be able to not be clamped and gripped so much in the throes of life, having a little bit more spaciousness. So we're going to start by imagining that we are rooted, that we have roots. And we can imagine that, like at the lower half of our body going down towards the earth is then continuing to go deep into the earth, like growing down there into the core of the earth. And it's not to say that we're so rooted that there's no movement. We can imagine that our roots have a living relationship with the earth itself, and there's movement. The roots are receiving nourishment, water, resources, minerals, whatever we need, with this idea of being rooted and grounded, rooted in Mother Nature, rooted in and with the planet Earth, rooted with the Gaia. And we may want to also imagine inviting in our ancestral roots into our experience. If that feels traumatic, don't do it. But if it feels like you have the capacity of spirit and generosity, invite that in for the little play of this moment. So we're going to start with a breath. Called a theta breath. It's a breath from Emily Conrad's Continuum, and it's just a soft hiss, like steam releasing from a radiator. So the inhales through your nose, and the exhales this soft hiss that lasts however long it lasts. Honor your own system by returning to an inhale whenever you need to. So it's not a challenge to last forever with the exhale, but just slowing down the exhale with this theta breath. So we'll just stick with that for a couple of minutes, taking resting breaths anytime you need them. And if micro movement is bubbling upward or downward, feel free to allow it in. So movement is allowed. We're inviting our physical sensation and our body really to come online. You can maybe imagine with the theta breath that your body is just settling down, connecting to the gravitational pull of the earth, nestling into being here right now. Maybe even the lower dantian, first and second chakras, the lower part of your body starts to really come into your awareness. Invite that in. Like so often we are not supposed to think about our pelvis and what's going on down there. Invite all sensation in. Invite the awareness of having this lower body all the way down to your legs, to your feet. Maybe from your head down to your body is connecting downward. And as we're in this exploration, there isn't a right or a wrong way. So however it's arriving and arising for you is exactly fine. And I'm letting the bowl of my pelvis kind of have some movement and freedom. Imagine that if there's anything that you kind of hold in for yourself, let that just hang out a little bit, whether it's your guts, your stomach, your chest. I know I used to always hide my chest kind of sinking in a little bit. So if there's any part of you that you feel like you may have retracted, just let it hang out. Let it be spacious, let it be present, invite it in with equanimity. And if you find your inner critic has a lot to say, you can just invite them to move to another part of the room where they can rest and not give you their feedback right now. Or they can give it to you, but you don't need to pay attention to it. So if you feel like judgment, resistance that is unhelpful arising, just set it aside. Let it come back later. Being really present with and for yourself and yourselves. Allowing the weight of your bones to descend. And as the weight of your bones descends, you can relax a little bit more. You're held and connected to the ground. Gravity says you belong. You aren't going to fall off the planet. You are here. Just letting go of the theta breath, inviting in any kind of micro movement. So it could be little tiny adjustments, little settlings, right? Body parts just going, maybe I can relax a little bit here. Maybe I can let go. Maybe there's a little undulation in your movement or big undulation. So we're not shutting off movement. Movement is allowed. It could be micro, tiny little adjustments, or it could be big macro movement, whatever feels good to you. Letting go of the cultural patterning and the cultural inhibition to have a fully vital, alive body. Inviting in that vitality through movement, through gentleness, through kindness and compassion, and feeling that sense of grounded energy coming up through your body and going down through your body. So there's this movement up and this movement down, could be coming into you, could be dropping out of you, but there's always, I think, in most life energies, there's always something going out and something coming back, right? Our blood is doing that, the are doing that, our cerebrospinal fluid is doing that. Some part of it's going out, some part of it's coming back. We could think of the ocean and the waves. They're going out and coming back. But even as one wave is going out, sometimes the undertow is moving back. So allowing the sense, the sort of bi-directional expansion and return to come into your awareness, if it does. If it's not coming in, that's fine too. But bringing in this awareness of receiving information as well as releasing information. So information is kind of coming through, and maybe there's spiraling, little ripples, whirlpools, and eddies, being that you are a body of water with breath, with the fire of your spirit, of your the electrical system within your cells and your heart and your nervous system. So inviting that in, inviting everything online, deep breath support, supporting your process of being alive. And we're going to go with another sound. So it's going to be an ooh sound, like a deep ooh. And as I'm oohing, I'm going to kind of let my tongue play in my mouth. And it's almost like when I do the ooh, I almost feel like I have a snout. And I'm vibrating a little bit more inside than outside. But I'm like going to let that ride down to my gut body as well. So I'm imagining that that ooh, deep ooh is just coming out from my guts up through my mouth. So I'll just do it and you can join in. It may be a little gruff or a little crusty, totally fine. However the sound comes out, this isn't our opera singing course. This is just letting the breath out with some sound to increase the vibration in your body. And then I'm going to start to let my mouth open a little bit more and close a little bit more. So it's going to be kind of like more of an ooh, ah, ooh. You can stick with just the ooh, or you can play with the ooh, ah, ooh, and you can let your tongue undulate, come to life, create shapes in your mouth. It could kind of be like you're ooh, oh, ah, ing with your tongue while your mouth just forms this ooh and ah shape. I'm going to go up a little higher because I feel like I started a little low for me. If I'm alone and relaxed, I can go really low, but when I'm teaching, it comes a little higher. So for me, as my vowel sound shifts from an oo to more of an ah sound or an open sound, I can feel the vibration of that sound sort of changing in my body. And we could imagine that we're coming to the base of our trunk, right? So our roots are strongly down there, but now maybe we're coming to the place where we leave the earth and start to go up to the heavens. We're coming into that breath support, inspiration, and the wonder and awakeness and aliveness that is up and around us. Maybe even just on the horizontal plane, but maybe up in the vision plane or up in the, what is it, the transcendent. Feeling into that connection from the lower body through the mid body towards the upper body, right? Like you're growing up out of the ground. And we can also think of the resilience of our cells and our tissues to grow up and away, to have that rebound from the earth, and how gravity supports us. The fluids in our bodies support and our movement support the growth of our bones and our fascia and even the density of our blood. So we're tuning into that layer of like this up and downness, but opening into that breath, into that inspiration. It's almost like we're letting the branches start to come out. It's springtime, right? The buds are just starting to appear. So we're inviting that energy up and out as well. If you're feeling really good in your grounded rootedness, feel free to stay there. But if you're ready to make this entry into the world of upness, feel free to do that. Letting the sound come out. Maybe there are overtones, maybe they're not. It doesn't matter. We're just working to feel the sense of vibration and the breath, and also this sort of freedom coming into our mouth, the sphincter muscles of our mouth, and maybe even your eyes, maybe your face, maybe whole gut body is having some aliveness. But inviting in a little bit of freedom in the play in your mouth. So mouth, tongue, neck, throat have a slightly different experience of being. Maybe it's not entirely human. Maybe it's like just feeling vibration, feeling sensation. Maybe it is entirely human. As you're in that play, invite, if it feels interesting, invite the arms and the hands to come into the game. And if you want to get off of, if you want to lay down, if you haven't laid down, feel free to do that or stand up. It could be any way that you're in this exploration. And I just want to offer, invite yourself to go towards what feels good as it is interesting, right? If you found something juicy, hang out there or see what's right around the corner from this. What's around here? What if I feel into that? So inviting yourself to come into aliveness and vitality with generosity for your own experience. You are allowed to have this experience. You are allowed to feel good. You are welcome to tune into your body with loving kindness. Like flowers and plants that grow toward the sunlight, just imagine what would it be like for you to grow towards that fire, that sunlight, that life-giving energy. Inviting in your deepest wisdom, the deepest wisdom in your bones, in your cells, what your body knows that is wise. Connecting to that, connecting to the earth, connecting to the sky, connecting to the sun, and inviting those energies into your body, connecting into the spaciousness of being with generosity, with the belief that the universe wants you to feel good. The universe wants you to heal. The universe wants you to sleep well. The universe wants you. I mean, what is the universe? Let's just say the goddess, the God, the life force. Vitality doesn't want to smash you down. It wants you to be effulgent, to blossom. Sometimes we have our, fallow periods, but we're maybe coming out of that into the springtime moment. So if you feel like you're really in the fallow, just stay down there in the earth. Totally welcome to be there. I'm going to add music to this, and it is ambient fields. This music was made in Iceland. Um, which one do we want to listen to? This one. This is Ambient Fields, album number 1. I haven't turned it on yet, so don't worry. You can't hear it yet. Here we go. So allowing the sound to also be part of the play. Letting your awareness rest in the openness of your experience. Nothing is held back or out. Maybe you're not giving full attention to it, but everything is allowed. I'm going to take it down to the floor. Coming down to earth, connecting to the nourishment of the planet and the nourishment for your fascia of the gravitational pull of the earth, and also reaching up and away. Inviting the lightness of your breath to also draw you upward, the lightness of the inhale. And maybe one part is going down as another part is going up. All of it is allowed. Surrendering into the ground and feeling the resource of breath lifting you back up, or maybe even just fluid movement. And if you notice you have any kind of grippy places or any painful areas, see if you can come back to or come towards places that feel good, even if you're going back and forth to what feels really maybe painful and grippy to what feels more expansive and delicious. You can go back and forth. Permission to slow down, even to stillness if that feels good. Or to move big if that's what feels good. Inviting your nervous system to kind of float suspended inside your body. It is suspended inside your body, so letting it be easy. Sometimes we have like kind of looping patterns in our nervous system that keep repeating something for us. Let this moment be an opportunity to release any of those looping patterns if you have any. It could be like a pain pattern or a tension pattern. Letting your head move around a little bit as well. So we're moving the vestibular system. It's not just staying still in a writing response. Let it kind of, or a writing reflex, let it wander. Let your head-tail connection meander. And as soon as you feel like, oh, this is where I'm going, see if you can go somewhere different. So once you notice that you know the map, try going somewhere else, just inviting in novel movement. Unless it feels so good that you want to go with what you know, that's acceptable too. But if you want to offer your system something a little bit different, then try going in a different direction as soon as you notice you found a pattern. And for me, it's as soon as I know where my arm is going, then I need to change something. As soon as I like notice, oh, I want to go there, then I take it back or go somewhere slightly different. Change the tempo, change the space, change the direction. And maybe this is happening just like on a micro level. And whenever necessary, take a moment to rest. cutting in and out a little bit. And I just think it's like, oh, it's just like records that have a skip. Generosity towards your experience, generosity towards yourself. Inviting your system to let go of any kind of old, crusty residue that you don't need anymore. Your body can just instantly compost it. It can just be reabsorbed, composted through the water in your body or through your breath. Offering your body a chance to let go of tension and stress and become more coherent, meaning your systems are working in a harmonious manner towards your health. Systems in alignment. If it feels helpful, you can rub your hands together and just do a little bit of hands-on, just to find yourself, feel that connection, core distal, center to edge connection. Sometimes we get very touch-starved in our culture. So offer yourself your own little oxytocin bath in any way that feels good to you. Sometimes if I just cup my hands over my eyes, I can remind my eyeballs to just retreat into the back body. Like they don't need to be bulging forward, seeing everything. They can come in, resourcing in the fluidity of my cranium, inside my cranium. Letting my optic nerve just relax a little. And maybe you start to feel like the buzz of your nervous system or the rhythm of your heartbeat or anything else going on inside your body. What is it like for your nervous system to feel rooted in the earth? Right, our nervous system, even as it's suspended in our bodies, deeply related to the gravitational pull of the earth. And also nature, right? We can go outside and just down regulate by looking at the movement of the trees or walking next to some creek. Peapod is walking back and forth. Don't worry about her. She is a Manx cat. So her tail is like that just because it's that way. Probably you're not looking at the screen at all. Just stay present to yourself and listen to my words. Listen to the music. Let it wash inside of you, wash you with vibration. Biomorphic experiential body, body mind, letting yourself connect to the experience of being through the senses. If I feel rooted and grounded, how free am I to grow? If I feel connected and supported and nourished, how spacious can I become? It's like we're tuning into the natural resources of our own system with our awareness of the elements. Inviting our body to just disentangle old patterns, disentangle old stories. For me, often this work doesn't really involve much story. Things can clear up without any story at all. Oh, here comes Gaylord. It's cat time. Yeah, what happens when we are resourced and nourished, given the opportunity to thrive? And also from our own selves when we're not getting in our own way, when we're not making up excuses for ourselves, or when we're just giving ourselves the opportunity to be present, to be with. And then there's also this idea of like the roots underground that are sort of the unseen parts, or maybe the subconscious parts, the things that aren't so close to the surface. And then the branches, everything on the top being very much in the world, being connected to this rooted, inspired, spacious being. Yeah, like a tree of earth and sky, a tree that connects down and goes up, expanding. And trees have that root network that is in relationship to other trees, right? The roots know. The branches know. If you look down at a forest, you can see the outline of each tree in relationship to the other often. And then, of course, there's all mycelium, all the fungus, all the mushrooms, all the things growing on the trees, in the soil, these systems of intelligence, living intelligent systems in relationship, connected, and supporting each other, supporting life on Earth, our relationship with the trees and our breath with plants, with the water, with the air, even like the microbiome. And trees have movement too, like they move with the wind. But I think they also have like their own, like plants, even throughout the day, have a little bit of movement, really micro stuff, but it's movement. And within them, there's movement, right? There's the movement of the fluids, the water, the nourishment, same thing, same as us. Radical self-acceptance, radical self-compassion, radical self-generosity, loving kindness for your own body mind, for your system, being here in the world with all these other systems and body minds, right? Where we're interwoven, we're interconnected, even interwebbed, right? Through the interwebs. Just come in without any more sound. I'm just going to turn that off. Have a minute or two to process the processing. Letting go of anything that you need to let go of, inviting in anything you need to invite in, receiving the rootedness of the earth and the inspiration of the air and the space around you. We have this one life, unless there are more who can say, but we know we have this one life. So be kind to yourself. Use this resource of this life to do the things you want to do. To, if it's not happening, what choices you got to make that are different?